and start by talking about how to solve multi-step equations. So this is very similar to the principles we learned in the last video, except now we're going to combine all of the different steps, addition, multiplication, division, subtraction, into one equation, rather than just having an equation that can be solved in one step. So, for example, if we take a look at something like 2x plus 10 equals 20. So the first thing you want to do in this step is subtract 10 from both sides. So you'll be left with 2x equals 10, and then you can go ahead and do your division to cancel these out. So x equals 5. Now, when you're solving for your equations, you kind of do your order of operations backwards, and in a way. This isn't a hard and fast rule, but you can kind of use it to help you kind of remember what's going on. So again, remember that whatever you do to one side of your equation, you've got to do to the other. So if we were to look at this, plus 10 equals 20. If we try to divide first, you would have to divide this whole side by 2 and this whole side by 2. So these would cancel. You'd be left with x plus 5 equals 10. And then you just subtract 5 from both sides. So you end up with the same answer, right? But I always find that if I try to do my multiplication or division first, I always forget to do this operation right here, and then it messes up my answer. So I like to just get all of my constants on one side of the equation first, and then worry about isolating my variable next. So I do my addition and subtraction first, and then I do my multiplication and division second. So let's go ahead and look at another one of these. So if we had 5x minus 10 equals 10. So first we're going to do our addition or subtraction. So we're going to add 10 to both sides. Left with 5x equals 20. Then divide both sides by 5. X equals 4. Now, another thing you might run into when looking at these equations are you might have to deal with parentheses or groupings. So if we had 3 times x minus 1 plus 6 equals 12, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look at this whole group as a multiplication. And so therefore you want to deal with this second. Again, get your constant over to the other side first. So we're going to subtract 6 from both sides. We'll be left with our 3 times x minus 1 equals 6. Now, this parenthesis grouping here, that's just 3 times this quantity here. So to undo this, you can divide this by 3, and that will cancel there. And then just remember to divide that side by 3 as well. So you'll be left with x minus 1 equals 2. And then you just add 1 to both sides. So you'll be left with x equals 3. And that's your solution there. Now, you could up here or up here, you can distribute this. That's totally fine. You'll get the same answer. Whatever you're more comfortable with, this is just kind of a shortcut that you can use. Is just recognizing that this here is one term, this here is one term. You can divide by 3, completely get rid of that, and just be left with your x minus 1. Now, if you don't understand that, go ahead and just distribute here. So if we did that, we'd end up with 3x minus 3 plus 6 equals 12. We'd go ahead and we'd combine these terms here. So 3x plus 3 equals 12. Subtract 3 from both sides. 3x equals 9. And then you're going to divide by 3 on both sides. So x equals 3. So again, you're going to get the same answer either way. Whichever method you're more comfortable with, go ahead and use that method. Now, something a little bit more complicated. If you had something like 4x plus 3 equals 2x minus 1, and you're asked to solve for x, or solve the equation, or find possible solutions to the equation, different wordings of what you might be asked to do. What you want to do is you want to get all of your variables on one side and all of your constants on the other side. So we're going to go ahead, move that out of the way. We're going to go ahead and start by subtracting 3 from both sides. So you'll be left with 4x equals 2x minus 4. Now we're going to go ahead and move this variable over here. And you just do that the same way that you do with your constants. So we're going to subtract a 2x from that side, subtract a 2x from that side. So we're going to be left with 2x equals negative 4. And then again, you just do your division. X is going to equal negative 2. And that's your solution to that. Now, if you had on one side, let's say we've got 3x plus 9 plus 3x equals x minus 6 plus 2x. So what you're going to end up doing is you're going, again, you want to get your variables on one side and your constants on the other. But go ahead and just focus now on each side individually. So combine all your like terms here and all your like terms here. So we're going to have 3x plus 3x plus 9 equals x plus 2x minus 6. So we're going to have 6x plus 9 equals 3x minus 6. So now we want to get all of our variables on one side and all of our constants on the other. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 9 from both sides. So we'll be left with 6x on the left side is equal to 3x minus 15. And then we need to get this variable over here. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 3x from both sides. So we're going to be left with 3x is equal to negative 15. And now we're at our one-step problem. So we're going to divide by 3 on both sides. Be left with x equals negative 5. And that's your answer there. So that's pretty much what it comes down to for solving equations. Just take it one step at a time. get all your variables on one side, all of your constants on the other, and then you'll be able to end up with this one-step problem that we had down here, and you'll be able to solve for it pretty easily.